Welcome back to week 5 NAO show. That is Mark and Mark. I am the Prince. Cheers to the league. Cheers to you, Primo. Bow, bow, bow. I'll tell you what, this week was a fantastic week. We, all three of us on the NAO show, all three hosts got the W. A-Bomb got the W. And Silly Dilly got the W this week.
Texas Live.
Woo!
Ernest hooked us up with some free glasses. So cheers to Ernest too.
Cheers to Ernest too. One fun thing that we found out on our trip over the weekend is that Texas does do things larger and prouder than anybody else. And then one thing that they definitely, most certainly do is they don't understand the term shot. Let me tell you. Ernest brings back a shot. It's in a freaking tumbler glass. It's 3/4 of the way filled. And it takes at least 2 gulps of my big mouth to get that freaking thing down. Yeah. It is not a shot.
It wasn't quite 3/4, but we met the people from Melinda's Hot Sauce that were going to be at the shout out to Autumn, Lil Whitey, and Caitlin.
That's his rap name.
Rap name. I don't even know what that kid's name was now, man. I'm not even sure what his first name is.
I think it was William.
I think you're right. I think it was Will. We drank a little bit with them, and upon parting ways, we asked for a shot. And Sean is right. They don't come with a shot glass. Not even I have like the tall shot glasses is like a shot and a half, and that's a big shot. And here he comes with like these tumblers, and they were probably a third full of what did we have?
No, they were definitely halfway full.
I don't think they were quite that full. They were. It wasn't a shot. That was the point. That's the whole point of the story. Is that it was 2 or 3 shots for sure. It was gummy bear, right? That's what those girls asked for. They wanted a gummy bear.
The girls asked for. Yeah. And then later on that week, after the game, we won't bring that up. We had a minimum to the table that we needed to meet, and we were just there. And Mark's like, "Oh yeah, let's get a shot, and we'll hit our minimum." They bring it in a freaking like plastic cup that's 3/4 of the way filled.
It's like a little complimentary water glass or something,
Yeah.
And it was like 3/4 full.
That thing was full. Like even A-Bomb had to take a few swallows of that thing. Like
it was straight whiskey.
So holy your crap. Boy went from Cool Calm Collective 4 to 9+, depending on the moment.
I mean, I was taking it relatively easy, and I was like, I don't even know that I was buzzed, as they say, maybe mildly buzzed, and like, okay, cool, nice night, sucky game, let's just go on home and finish up with a shot and be done with it. And yeah, after that, man, yeah, I was over the edge too. Woo. I mean, I don't normally take 3 shots of anything.
Well, I was drinking hard liquor, and I don't do that almost ever. I was drinking double vodka and Red Bull. I was like, we got to make this minimum. I'm going to help in the best way I know how. Come to find out, the mixed drinks are cheaper than the beers were.
That's crazy, man.
Which is freaking absolutely ridiculous.
It's a lot of fun over at Texas Live, but it's a little bit touristy, and yeah, they certainly what was it, $14 for a beer out on the patio, but then the inside with a reserved table, the mixed drinks were less than that. So crazy, right? Crazy.
Absolutely crazy.
Yeah. I think in Texas, I think the moral of the story, if you're in Texas and you want a normal shot, I think you have to ask for a micro shot, and then they'll be like, "Oh, you want one of those little bitty glasses?" Okay, fine, wimp,
They might just overreact to it and be like, "Oh, this this bitch wants a micro shot, I got him. Gets a fucking pint glass and fills the bottom of a pint glass, you know?
Yeah. They certainly have a different definition of shot than we do.
Yes, they do.
They put us over the edge a couple of days. Thank you. Oh, you forgot to tell him that we went back to see Ernest on Saturday before we went to the festival, and he said, "Hey, I'm gonna get you a shot on me." Same thing, man. Freaking
Same thing that happened.
comes with a damn tumbler, about a third full of alcohol. So, but hey, God bless
I
Ernest,
remember
man.
Avon going, well, that was a little more than a shot.
Yeah, yeah. And we're like, we told you, man. We told you.
We told you.
We asked for a shot, and that's what he gave us. Oh well, fun times, man. Fun times. Let's get on to some league stuff.
Oh, okay. We're here to talk fantasy football after all.
Yeah, we do have a show to do. So why don't we start off with the trades? We have 4 of them to talk about this week, so we'll try to make our way on through them as best
Okay.
we can. Some bigger, some smaller, but that's what makes it all fun. Let's go.
Yes, sir. Let's do it.
We'll start off with Tank Top Mike trading with Goofy effing Jay-Z. We've got Tank Top Mike receiving a 24 second and a 24 third, both from Goofy. And in return, Goofy gets Christian Kirk, a 24 fifth rounder, which is the Princess, and a 26 fifth rounder from Tank Top Mike. So,
well,
go ahead. Goofy was buying here.
I will say that the values in trades have been pretty nice the last few times, and I think we need to give some kudos to Tank Top over here trying to make trades left, right, and up the middle. And I like this trade. I like this trade for both sides. I like that Goofy has all that draft capital. He's going out and getting guys that will help him immediately with Christian Kirk. We watched him and he looked really good in London. And then Mike, on the other hand, he's trying to be strategic with his rebuild, and he's got a couple picks for 24, and who knows? Maybe he'll move those too. We don't know. I think for both sides, it makes sense, and the values in a funnel, those things. I think both sides pretty much got it right.
Yeah. Now it's funny to see Tank Top with draft capital now when you scroll down below his taxi squad, and the IR and all that. You're like, what's this? There's draft picks. So
I don't know what draft picks are, so I'm really just talking about things I have no idea what they are.
It's definitely you don't have any for sure, but yeah, Kirk was probably one of the last pieces of depth on his bench. So we were looking at his roster today and kind of realizing there's not a lot of depth. He's still got a decent starting roster, but not a lot of depth there. He gave up Kirk, and I like that for Goofy at the time. Looked like maybe Goofy was going to be buying. We know that there's another trade we'll talk about later here, but
Right.
looked like he was buying, and I think that was a good piece to buy because Kirk had a down game in the first one, but then he was solid. The numbers look good, 2 through 4 going into the London game, week number 5, and you're right, he did look good, and it's Ridley's been the little more shaky one, although he did have a good game in London as well. But Kirk is a solid guy, playing in a slot where he belongs, and definitely getting a lot of looks from Trevor Lawrence.
I think the Ridley shakiness is more quarterback play than him. Lawrence has been kind of the good. He does good for the team, like on a professional level for the NFL, but for fantasy, he hasn't been all that great.
Yeah.
So I think that'll be better moving forward for Ridley.
I think it was good for both of them. I don't think anybody would give a first rounder for Kirk, even with the other 2 picks coming with it. But to get a second rounder in the upcoming draft, and then a third rounder along with it, I think that was good, real good value. Yeah, that's the way to go. Yeah, I can't get a first, but let me get a second and a third and see what I can do with that. So, all right, we'll move on to the next trade. Shame Mike's not here tonight to talk about his trades because he's in this one too with you, Sean. You got Jordan Love and a 2024 third rounder, which was Goofy. So he Mike got that third rounder and promptly sent it off to you in the next trade. So in return, he got Derek Carr and Damian Pierce. I'll start us off this time, Sean, and outside looking in, I think you definitely were staring down starting Ryan Tannehill and wanted to do a little better there. Love had been solid. I think at the time it was a good trade. You made a good trade. You got a guy. You got some depth. You had another option to start. You know, if things weren't looking too great for you. Tank Top gets Carr. He's, Carr has been that baseline guy. He's the middle of the pack. So if you're above Carr, you're close to quarterback one. If you're below Carr, then you're not so good, and you're kind of maybe down towards the bottom. So he got the baseline guy, and he got Damian Pierce. He's hasn't been the same as he was last year, but I think there's better days ahead for Damian
Yeah.
Pierce. Still a good running back. Just a new coach, new coaches, new philosophy with his usage, and he is definitely splitting time more than he was last year. I guess the upside, the good thing is he's more involved in the passing game, I think, than he was last year. But I think his snap percentage is a little bit down. Still a really good guy though. So one of those kind of lateral moves for Tank Top Mike, and you get a third rounder. We just talked about you not having any draft capital. Look at there, man. Got a third rounder. And
We were talking before the show, and I said I didn't have a pick until 26, and I totally forgot I even had the
yeah,
pick.
yeah.
I'm
but
so
I
used to
think
not having picks.
but I think you can tell us a little more about you kind of waiting for one domino for this domino to fall. You want to elaborate on this trade for you guys?
Yeah, so looking at the lineups, obviously I was having a giant quarterback issue, and putting Ryan Tannehill, who was one of my best quarterback options, like on average, in my lineup made me want to go throw up, So
Yeah,
that wasn't a really really great feeling. And where how Mike is doing his rebuild, he's being very. I've said time and time again that he's doing this strategic rebuild, and a guy like Pierce, he probably won't be a running back like top running back, like top 12 running back, unless he has a couple good days. But
yeah,
he'll be a solid RB2,
yeah, yeah,
good piece to move if he needs to move forward. I needed to give up to get on this type thing because really, uh, Mike had no reason not to just keep Love. He was RB4, solid guy to put in there.
yeah.
Uh I was quarterback needy. I had to give up. I had to get something. I had to give something to get something. Then we'll get into how that turned out for me later. But yeah.
Well, just I'm looking at. Whew, I thought maybe Mike, being crafty as he is, looked ahead at the playoffs and saw that maybe Pierce had good matchups, but he really doesn't. So I will moving on from that. I won't talk about that. I just hit me. I was like, I wonder if Mike looked ahead and saw what he had for the playoffs, because if he ends up down in the bottom four, he's looking for guys to go in there with. So. Um, that didn't quite pan out like I thought it would. Sorry, Mike, if you're hearing this, when you hear this, and you go take a look. Sorry, man. Man. Maybe you can move him. Maybe you can move him for something else. Well, anyway, it's a young guy that he can have for several more years anyway. So, and
Right.
on a team that's on the rise. So the team is looking a lot better now. So. All right, we'll move on to our next trade. This one is between the Johnsons and Goofy effing Jay-Z. We got the Johnsons receiving Brees Hall, Jordan Addison, and the Dallas defense. Goofy received a 24 and a 25 first from Marky Mark, He got a 25-second from the Prince. There's we were wondering where your picks
Oh,
are.
that's where
There's
my
one of
pick
them.
is.
That's where one of them is. He also got Tyler Lockett and Jerome Ford. So tell me, we've talked about it, but tell the world at large, our large audience,
Millions and
tell
million viewers.
tell them your thoughts on this trade.
So I just gotta applaud Goofy. He did get his 2 first-round picks for the Dallas defense, just like he said he would. He is a man of his word. He is a man of action. He is decisive. He knows exactly what he wants. And this trade is definitely did not take what I'm assuming was weeks of back and forth with Goofy. So I'm
Yeah,
making jokes. I'm making jokes. But yeah, I think this is great. I'm interested to see what Goofy does with all these first round picks. I have a point of view that you can't hit on half the first round. I mean, like some of those are going to be duds, but he's got first round picks to go buy people. Go buy a couple fun parts, you know? Throw your money around. Be the Richie Rich dude you are with these
yeah,
picks. I like Addison. I really like Addison now after fucking Justin Jefferson went down. Like,
yeah, yeah.
golly.
Sorry,
Uh
dude.
Brees Hall had as soon as you put him in the lineup, he's like, oh, I'm gonna actually play football now. That's
Yeah,
cool.
yeah, yeah. It was
Lockett was a
inevitable.
loss for you though, but I'm sure you're
Yeah,
fine with getting younger at the wide receiver position.
yeah. I didn't want to give up Lockett, and that's in the negotiations. He ended up leaving me, unfortunately, but I wanted to give a lesser guy there and still have Lockett to plug in. So I kind of hate it. I hate it on that. I want, in a move like this, you should get a little bit more depth, and I probably didn't get much more depth, but I got younger guys that I can play with now. So it was weird. I went to Goofy and I was just like, all right, man, you got all them first rounders and I suck. So let's see what we can sell you and get me a couple of first rounders and and
We see how that worked out.
yeah, he wasn't sure what he wanted to do. He had the injuries with JK. He sold Keenan and then Mike Williams went out. So he was kind of totally bummed about how things were going for him and wondering if he would rather just sell. And I was just like, well, shit, man, if everybody's gonna play for the bottom four, someone's got to play for the damn playoffs. So yeah, I certainly didn't want to be in this position where I'm trying to play for the playoffs and have been sucking out loud. But I'm like, well, give me a couple of pieces to get there with, then I guess, and let's see what I can do. So the Dallas defense kind of was one of those things where if they can win me some weeks, then like they have other people, maybe they can make up for some other
Goofy.
deficiencies. So Hall is a great guy to put in my lineup, and he's a young running back moving forward. Addison, I'll tell you, I I think Addison is better with JJ in there, so I'm a little bit nervous about how that's going to all shake out. Right now,
We
they're
don't
talking
know.
about yeah, they're talking about Osborne playing the Jefferson role, but you don't have to you don't have to pay attention to Osborne. Now, I think Osborne's a good receiver, but there's not many that can step into that JJ role and play it like he does. So we'll
He
have to
is not
see.
JJ.
No. So I feel like if Addison can play from the slot now that JJ's out, he might be a little bit better. We'll have to see the usage. So I'm a little nervous about that. I think he's good, but he's small. He's not great right now against press coverage. The best thing about him was that he could actually, he's great against zone, and he's got a guy that they're paying a lot of attention to on the other side. That was the value for Addison. So now
Well,
now he's got to get out there and deal with press coverage probably, and he's gonna have to put on the big boy pants, get out there and start making some plays. So
well, Minnesota throws the ball more than anybody else in the league, it seems like. And those targets that were originally allocated for Justin Jefferson have to go someplace. if that's Hawkinson, that's where I think it's probably going to get mixed into. Like
Yeah.
Hawkinson, instead of getting 8 targets, he's going to get 11 targets now, or something to
Yeah.
that effect.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, Addison's going to get looks. He's going to get. Are they going to be solid looks?
Yeah.
Is he good enough to beat the guy he's going against, like Justin Jefferson? Who sees? We'll see.
Yeah.
But I think Hawkinson actually benefits most, but he doesn't get all those targets.
No, it's going to be this game coming up. I'm going to be looking at where everybody's lining up, how they were using them, snap percentages. It's going to be a big factor in how well Addison does moving forward. So, because now, I mean, if you look, I think most people would look at it and say, yeah, Addison now he's their best guy.
Yeah.
If they decide they're going to shut him down, only thing that helps there really is Hawkinson, because they can split Hawkinson out wide.
Yeah.
And that's why I say if they were doing some of that with Addison in the slot, I think maybe he can still be good. But we'll have to see what the usage is, man. He had a great game. I'll say he had a good game for me. He had a touchdown. Very involved in the game against Kansas City, but now JJ's out, so everything resets right now.
Yep.
So Goofy did all right to get what he got. He's still got a couple of guys to play with in Ford and Lockett. They were both on bye, but I'm sure they'll be in his lineup this week. And now he's got that draft capital. It didn't take weeks, but sometimes days seems like weeks when you're talking to Goofy, but we got it done, man. He's a tough one to negotiate with, man.
The super decisive Goofy?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, he's a tough one to negotiate with. So it was sort of like when I felt like I was losing it, I was like, okay, is this worth, going a little bit further with it, So like I said, I ended up putting Lockett up instead of other guys I had suggested, and that 25 second was a 25 third to start out, so I had to push that up a little bit too. So I had another second and 25, so it was like, okay, it's expendable, so to speak, and we'll see what happens. Now, and I told Goofy, I was like, now you can take all those first rounders and you can start buying guys, so you don't have to go to the bottom 4. You can sell them off and start playing, but I don't know. We'll see what he does.
We'll
I think
see.
I think he's going down to the bottom 4, but he could have played the old switcheroo on me and been like, all right, now I'm gonna get these two and I'm gonna start buying it up. We'll see. We'll see. All right, we got one last trade. It's not too much of a trade. It was Goofy again, looking at his greatly depleted running back roster after losing Aaron Jones on the Monday night game. He got Michael Carter from Dr. Donkey and the Dumbass. He gave a 4th rounder, which was Humpty's original pick, gave it back to him.
You needed the guy to put in there.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't have much to say on this trade.
He couldn't put him in there, But hey, he's got a guy that probably gets some could be involved in the passing game for the Jets. Honestly, I have not seen much what Carter's done or not done,
Yeah.
So
I haven't seen a Jets game all year.
It's odd that I think Carter was a 1st round pick in the draft he was involved in, and he's going for a 4th rounder. So the value has certainly dropped.
All right. Let's get into these matchups.
Yeah, we're gonna go on to the scores from week 5 here. We have a very exciting one between. We're gonna start off with A-Bomb 140, the DBs 137. So this one went down to the wire. A-Bomb finally pulled it off despite a down day for Devontae Adams, but Jacobs got him enough to get it done. It was a great matchup to be watching live last night. What do you think, Sean?
Well, I mean, there's a couple of guys on this lineup that I was pretty shocked to see that they did so well, and maybe I'm just the guy that stands alone like normal. But Gabe Davis, he had a great day, 19 points, And that was match. That was a step. You like to call it a fucking skinny stack, but creating he was paired up with Josh Allen, and Josh Allen had almost 30 points, so that's what he needed to happen. And Pacheco, he had a pretty good day. Like you said, Adams, he went down. He did not have a very great day, but Josh Reynolds, like who else other than A-Bomb starts Josh Reynolds and he gets freaking almost 16 points? You know what I mean? Like this guy has a freaking horseshoe of luck permanently jammed in his asshole. You know what I mean? Like it's crazy. But moving forward next week, little breaking news on the NAO show if you haven't seen it yet. Eckler said there was a 99% chance he was playing next week. So the DBs will have their full array of players, which is good because A-Chain went down, unfortunately. Sorry.
Yeah.
That actually didn't suck as much as Justin Jefferson, but it did suck because he was having a fantastic year and they didn't expect him to be as good as he was, I don't think. I think he was supposed to be just a change of down back, and when that I don't know why people are not talking more about the Dolphins offensive line. Like they are doing phenomenal to have both these running backs just doing so darn well.
When you got a guy as fast as A-Chain, man, you just got to hold your block for a second,
Right.
Just hold it for a second, and he's so fast it gets right through there, man. That one run, I was like, I don't think anybody touched him the whole time. That one long when he broke off, and then on the replay, you're like, okay, one guy got one hand on him. But yeah, it's like hold your block for a second. He's going to be through that line with that burst that he has. So
Mm-hmm.
it does. Yeah, you hate to see you hate injuries all the way around.
Yeah.
When it's such an electric player like that, it's even a little worse because now we're missing out on those plays like we saw the other day.
Yeah, because
So
I mean, regardless of whose team they're on, it's fun to see rookies excel like immediately, like this has. I mean, yeah, he didn't have a very good first game because he didn't actually play much, but I mean, when he's given the opportunity, he's been killing it, absolutely
yeah,
killing it.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That's a shame to lose that guy. I haven't seen any updates, so don't know how long it might be that he will be out. I bet we'll see Jeff Wilson get activated now, and he probably is going to be Mostert's backfield for right now. So
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to think I had a little to do with Josh Reynolds. He might have been thinking about it already, but I did tell him while we were together in Dallas that I felt like it was a good play because Amon was out for sure, and Jameson might be worked in a little bit slowly, and so I thought it was a good play, and it turned out to be a good one for him. So yeah, I traded him Gabe Davis, so he keep seeing keep seeing that happen. And I think I was telling you I wanted to get back in on Gabe Davis. I sold him in a lot of leagues last year. Um,
Well,
and
his
I
value was through the roof after
Oh
the
yeah,
playoff
no,
game two
yeah, it
years
was
ago.
great. He was definitely a guy to be selling, but this year he was a buy low. But most people were willing to hang in there just a little bit longer. But
Just
it,
a little bit
yeah,
longer.
I thought the high ankle might have been the hindrance last year, and it's looking that way because he's looking a lot better this year. He's a lot more involved in the offense. So over on the DB side, you got Henry not very involved. Tajay Spears is taking work from him. Jackson with 7 recorded drops by the receivers, which really sucks. 2 of them in the end zone. That
That
was on,
doesn't bode well for fantasy
yeah,
owners.
it was on the same drive, so it wasn't like he would have had. But I saw somebody did like an adjusted metrics for freaking Jackson. He would have probably passed for over 400 yards and had the one more touchdown. It's just, he would have had a day. So
Well, I mean, if you're gonna take every wide receiver's drop out of it, every quarterback's gonna have a freaking day.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, no, I mean it's just 7 drops, man. That was a killer for him. He actually played well. and it sucks that he was down so low because of his teammates. And then, Dallas, the only thing they did right was shut down McCaffrey. That kept him to 12.8. Um, all it did was help A-bomb. uh, so yeah, it was a it was a it was a day that the DBs could be beaten, and that's what happened. They still had great performances by a lot of
Yeah,
guys, but they needed big games from that better game from Jackson or even McCaffrey
Henry.
having one of his normal. That Henry was down. Yeah, Tajay, man, he's eating into Henry's carries and stuff right now, so he's looking pretty good. So yep, good win for A Bomb. We'll talk standings a little bit later, but that certainly made things interesting.
Yes, it did.
We will move on to our next matchup. This is Tank Top Mike 164, the Pooh Crew 134. So this is the worst tank job ever by the top tanker Tank Top. And really no disrespect to Tank Top. Normally I do the top scores is the lead off, but I just thought the DB's loss was much more unexpected than the Poo Crew. I mean, we always expect the Poo Crew to lose, so this one means there are no undefeated teams this season. Tank Top knocked them off.
Great job to both A-Bomb and the tanker Tank Top. Yeah, I was sitting there next to him watching the 49ers game. Now, earmuffs, primo, but he called two of those touchdowns a play prior to them happening for Kittle. He said,
Yeah.
"Oh, it's time for Kittle to get another touchdown." And I looked at him when he had two, and I was like, "You're high as shit. There ain't no way Kittle's getting three touchdowns."
Yeah.
And then the 49ers pulled the same trick play that the Detroit Lions pulled to get Laporta a touchdown. They did the same exact thing for Kittle to get his third. It was
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, when it's a Kittle day, it's a Kittle day, man. He goes crazy. He can be very frustrating because if it's a Kittle blocking day, then you're not going to get too much out of him. But when they decide they're going to try to exploit some matchups with him, he definitely can do that. So he did that against my beloved Cowboys, unfortunately.
Well, I'm not even like bringing up the fact that DJ Moore had 45 points because I mean we talked a lot about that in the chat because it felt like finally DJ Moore's coming out party. You know what I mean? There was a hot mic issue with him and somebody else, and I guess the squeaky wheel gets the grease, as they say.
The accidental
And
squeaky wheel, but
he looked awesome, and I felt good for it to happen because I know
yeah.
Tank Top has been sitting on DJ Moore for years, hoping for it to happen finally. So hopefully it is happening for him.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
For
Mahomes.
the record, you fucking suck at tanking. Like, come on, man.
Yeah. Well, on a day where Mahomes didn't quite break 20, he got it from other people for sure. Kittle and Moore. And then, yeah, George Pickens in there, man. And he had a big day. So that was that one's not always expected either. So yeah, just everything kind of came together for him and got a nice score there. DeAndre Swift, his guy, still looking pretty good there too. So over on Ian's side, Pollard definitely down. Um, they couldn't get him much involved with the way that game was. Garoppolo, of course, shame you don't want to have to ever start him, but you had to put somebody in there. Watson on by, and he had to start Garoppolo, so not too much there for him. Yeah.
We won't bring up Zach Moss on his bench over here, but yeah, he had a rough day.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I guess probably a lot of people put in JT that had him, but I think I said last week that
Earmuffs Dilly.
yeah. No, I just, I thought Taylor would be a slow start, kind of like Jacobs was. You remember? I think I said something about that last week. Um, so great that Taylor is back in there, but I just didn't think that he was going to jump right in there and take the lead. I had I had Moss on my bench too in another league. Fortunately, I got the win, but I could have used those points, and shame I sat him. So yeah, I mean he put up a good total, but still lost by 30 points to old Tank Top. So he drops out of the undefeated teams as well. So kind of an interesting 1-2 punch there by the Dallas crew. Yeah. Hey, look at that. We all won. We got a that didn't happen last year. I know I
That
lost
did
last
not
year when I was
happen
Dallas.
last year.
Yeah, I was pissed off last year. So all right, let's move on to our next one. We got Silly Dilly 135, FNG 108. So this was a costly one for Dylan as he lost his only true RB1 in James Conner.
Yeah,
Meanwhile,
it's hard to see.
yeah, no, it does, man. Said it, told you I hate injuries, but meanwhile, FNG's RBs are letting him down big time right now.
Hmm. It's
I mean,
okay because Dilly has this fantastic ability to draft really good players. Like he is good in the rookie draft, and he drafted Sam fucking Laporta that carried him this week
yeah,
with Jacoby Myers. Jacoby Myers got a touchdown. Write that down in your fucking calendars and your almanacs.
yeah. Myers looked good
Friggin'
yesterday.
Myers, Laporta, 2 touchdowns, rookie tight end. That's like almost never heard of. Kyle Pitts, who? And Thielen. Thielen's been doing fan freaking tastic with just having all that freaking volume.
Yeah, he's getting garbage time, a lot of it, but it's nice when the defense is, taking a deep drop on you and you could just kind of come in underneath and get the ball. He's getting a lot of that, but he's the guy that Young is looking for. Winning or losing, whatever, garbage time or whatnot. He's looking for Thielen a lot. So yeah, he got Zay Flowers this year too. That's a good one. He had one or two of those drops on Sunday. So, but Zay Flowers has been solid for him. So yeah, he's got a few good pieces there, man. Shame he doesn't have any picks for this year, but yeah, you're
I've
right. Travis,
I've said after a few of our rookie drafts that I'm really impressed with Dylan's ability to
we've
draft.
yeah, we've liked the guys he's gotten. The only one that hasn't panned out real well is Jerry Judy. Is the only one that hasn't. He's had a few days here and there, but he hasn't. He's been very inconsistent and maybe up on the trade block right now. Not in a great situation there anyway. But you
Mm-hmm.
think about guys like ATN that he doesn't have anymore. You've got Devonta now. Yeah, if he had kept a few of these guys, man, things could be different for him. So, of course, he got Myers in one of those trades. Myers is looking good with the Raiders. He's doing better there than he was in New England, and he was pretty good in New England.
Yeah, I mean, New England is not the place to have a wide receiver for.
Yeah, no. He got a goose egg and still got the win, and got a pretty good total at 135. So, good day
Yeah,
for
that's a
Dylan,
great
but
total.
kind of hate that he's lost. Yeah, his defense, freaking New Orleans, 24 points, man. That helps a lot too. So, but yeah, losing Connor, man, that was tough. Nice win, but I know he's probably trying to look ahead and see what he's going to do without Connor in there right now. So,
Yeah, that
yeah,
was a big loss for him and his team.
yeah, Evan G just can't get his running backs going now. He had Kenneth Walker was on by, so I'm sure he would have had him in there if he could have. He's got Spears on the bench. Maybe he ought to start think about flexing him because, man, Sanders with 1.2, Stevenson with 2.4, and just that's in his flex. Robinson, better days ahead for Bijan for sure, but 10.8, and then Cook bad game in London, 3.6. That was it, man. His running backs
Yeah.
just killed him. They just killed him, man. So that's a shame. That's a shame. We're all surprised to see our buddy FNG kind of struggling right now. Can't blame him for keeping Curtis Samuel on his bench. He went for 15.5. So just tough luck.
That is very tough.
New tough luck kid, I think here. All right, we'll move on to our next score, which is the Johnsons 105, Goofy effing Jay-Z 96. Of course, the trade pretty much guaranteed me the win, but I'll take it and hope for better days ahead with the guys that I got.
Heck yeah.
Nothing exciting here, unfortunately. Only a 105. I need a lot of points. I'm gonna have to do like Dylan did a few years ago, and it's gonna have to all be wins if I'm gonna be up there in the top 4 at all. Because my points for right now aren't getting me shite. So.
Well, the thing I've learned about this league is that you can never guarantee anything, and you can always depend on anything crazy happening. So,
yeah.
Crazier things have happened.
And that's just fantasy football in a nutshell. So.
Yeah, definitely. I think the move to acquire more picks and move a couple pit guys for Goofy was good. Like I said, but I don't know why he moved younger guys, but I mean that's what you were coming after, and that's what you're going to give up your picks for. Because I mean, you're not going to give up you're not in a position where you can spend first round picks and get like mid range age guys. So you're going to try to get guys with upside, younger dudes that haven't really hit yet. But Goofy Jace has to have a come to Jesus moment with what he wants to do with his team right now. So I'm expecting him to either make some moves, or on draft day he's going to be freaking wheeling and dealing. You might want to watch Draft Day the movie and get some pointers on how to do that. So
yeah,
we'll see.
Yeah, it's odd. Normally, when someone's buying, especially when they're putting out 2 first rounders, they're getting established guys that are scoring a lot of points that can help put them over the top.
Mm-hmm.
I guess in this case, I wanted to kind of do it a little more strategically and get guys that are younger and that I can play with this year, but then they're younger to help me. So if I don't have that first rounder next year, then I got Addison, I got Brees. So I guess those are my first rounders,
You're speaking to the choir over here.
Yeah.
You're speaking to the choir.
Yeah, and I'm going to hold on to those second rounders. So I don't think I'll be doing much more, if any, buying, but just hoping that this roster now with a true one in Brees Hall, with Javonte dinged up still and trying to get back up to speed. I've got a true one, and maybe now with Herbert out, maybe Roshan does what I kind of moved up and drafted him in the 3rd round, I think it was.
Okay.
Yeah, he was my prize of the draft. I just felt like he could definitely outdo the draft value where I got him.
That's all you can hope for.
I feel like he can ascend to the number 1 position. Now it's Chicago. We'll have to see if Herbert can keep, or not Herbert, but Fields can keep things up, and they're a good team again, or at least a good offense again.
1 week.
Yeah, I know. I'm not getting too excited yet, but I think Roshan's a guy that if he can clear concussion protocol, I think he's going to go in there now and could very well take that number 1 job. So I may have me 2 true ones with Javonte on the mend, So that certainly helped my running back depth a lot. And I was decent at receiver, and Addison now gives me I didn't know we were going to talk about the trade though this whole time, but you look at it, and I put in Brees and Addison, and they got me the win. Otherwise I was struggling to get it.
Which
so.
begs to ask the question: why would you trade with the guy you're playing against? Wait until next week. That trade does not change.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I guess it would change for you. It would have been it would have been harder by to get Addison and Brees Hall after
Yeah.
that kind of day. But
Yeah.
yeah,
That's certainly not the norm. But like I said, I went to him and said, "All right, you're gonna buy. I'm gonna go down to the bottom four," and he wouldn't have any of it. I tried, man. I really tried. All right, let's go on to our last game, our last score of the week. That is the Prince. The Prince, the Prince, 133. Dr. Donkey and the Dumbass, 55. Oof, man. You had a decent score that could have beaten some other guys, and you end up playing these guys that they got the big score last week, but man, they came right back down to earth. Not much to say about this one, but anything you want to elaborate on here? Got eight.
I tried to get fancy and put Romeo Dubs in there. That wasn't smart. I should have just played my studs like Mike always tells me. And there's points left on the board here. I mean, Justin Jefferson got hurt early. He only had 4. So you would expect him to get more. Devontae Smith, he's been having 2 weird weeks back to back where they really didn't need him, which is kind of
Yeah.
scary moving forward because AJ was just freaking catching everything and getting yapped like crazy. So there was no reason not to throw it to him. Yeah, Justin Jefferson went down. He's going to be on IR, and luckily it was the same week Cup came back, and he can kind of mold over that hurt. But I wouldn't be shocked if Justin Jefferson doesn't come back this year, which would fucking blow ass.
I mean, it makes getting Cup a very good move on your part that you're not going to have. You lose. Olave's been down a little bit. I don't know if he's nursing something himself, but for an injury. But you lose Jefferson, and you're like, oh man, that's a big hit on my roster. But you got Cup coming up there that looks like he's going to do fine. It's a shame you don't have both of them.
That was the plan.
But you got
1, 2, 3.
You got someone to put in there for him. So, and Chase finally went off, and yeah, I mean, gosh, you're kind of shell shocked with Burrow, and I don't blame anybody for sitting him last week, but I think I told you, I don't know if it was a show or if it was something else. I thought Burrow was going to do better. I thought he'd be better, you know.
All right, Ian, moving on.
So
why don't you start Burrow? Well,
but
his average is fucking 4 points a game.
Yeah.
Get off I can't
blame
dick.
You. I can't blame you, man. I can't blame you. I started off saying I can't blame anybody for being shell shocked and not wanting to start Joe Burrow. So just calm down there, take your meds, and we'll talk about the rest of this thing. Yeah.
Still really fresh for me.
Okay? No, I know, man. I know. And Love had been good. He had been solid. I'll say he had been. I won't say he'd been good-ish. He'd been good-ish. I was looking for more. I was looking. This is a game I thought, okay, this is the game he's got to come out here and show that he can be the Rodgers replacement. Unfortunately for Green Bay fans, I don't think that's what showed. That's not a great defense he played, and they made him look pretty bad, unfortunately.
Well, you don't play down to your opponents.
Yeah. Well, not much to say on the tip side, although they had Rashee Rice in there, and I had Landon's in another league with me, and I had mentioned I thought that Rice was somebody they could start looking at playing, and they got him in there, and he looks like he was their high scorer. So, yeah.
So you're managing this team too? Is there 2 co-managers?
I'm just advice all over, man. I should start charging just a little bit, but get some OnlyFans or get some subscribers. Get some subscribers. Yeah, I used the wrong term there.
NAO is getting spicy up in here. Mike's not even here to even tell you how to do it. I mean, what is up?
Yeah, I wouldn't know the first thing about it. Oh well, but hey, I mean, you'll take the W and
keep moving.
you got Cup to go in for Jefferson. Hopefully, the lobby starts getting his stuff together. Hasn't had a touchdown yet. No, he did have a touchdown, but that's all he had. It's funny, like he had been pretty solid, but then no touchdowns until he has kind of a down game, but does get a touchdown. But 2 down games in a row, really, if you look
Yeah.
at it. So, yeah, man, he might be hurt. I don't know.
It,
I,
it's
I'm
got to
not
be a
sure.
byproduct of Carr because no one's
Yeah,
really doing anything that great.
probably so, man. Probably so. It's a shame because I saw what they put out the top 10 grades for wide receiver, and he was number 10. And you're like, how the hell does that translate? He hasn't done a thing, man. So hopefully he'll come on for you too, and you got another guy in there. So, but that does bring us on to the Mr. Miyagi ass waxing of the week. I have word from Ricky himself. Landon,
Oh, damn.
Landon spoke up last time, but I got right in touch with Ricky. I was like, come on, man, we got to hear from the old humpback swamp donkey himself. So
Dr. Donkey.
I'll tell you what he told me, man. I wrote it down. I
Oh,
transcribed
here
it.
we go.
So he started off with FUMFer.
Okay.
I just said, hey, man, do you want to say a little bit about the Miyagi? I'm sure you're proud of your win and everything. And FUMFer, he said the best part of you ran down your mother's leg.
Ooh, that's
So,
fun. That's a good
yeah,
one.
not too nice. He said, do us all a favor, take a break from sucking D and suck on my shotgun barrel for a second. So, a little rough there, man. A little rough there. All in all, it was nice to catch Ricky in a good mood, though. So, you know.
You really got him in. He was really
Yeah, no,
happy.
I got him in a good mood. That's not near as bad as what he's had to say before. So,
Oh, that's like
yeah,
rated G compared to some stuff he says.
yeah. So I don't think he was too excited about the Miyagi. I was excited for him, but he wasn't too excited about it. So
It's an award. It's
it's an
a
award.
prestigious
It's a
award.
it's a major award. All right, man. Let's move on to the standings here. Uh, we'll kind of tag team it here. I guess we got top four. We've got the DBs. We have a shift in the standings with A-Bomb
The
taking over the
force
number 2
with the
spot.
with the two losses and Avon having all those extra points moves them up in the second place and moves the Pooh Crew down to 3.
Down to third place. And pretty good. What's that? 14, 44, 52 points, top of my head, that he's got on him now. That's a nice little cushion to have.
Yeah.
And then,
And the surprise of the week, the
yeah,
tanker, the guy that's
sure.
supposed to be fucking in the bottom 4,
Yeah,
taking my spot in the playoffs because
yeah.
of all his points.
I
Because of
guess we're
his
going to,
points.
yeah. Now, hey, he's only got you by what, 7 points there? Yeah, if my math is right again, 7 points, not too bad. You're right
Fun fact,
there.
FNG has
But
Mike by 1 point.
yeah, that's crazy too, man. That's crazy too. He's hit the tough part of his schedule right off the bat for sure. But yeah, Tank Top, we're gonna have to explain to him about this tanking stuff, man. He's not getting it, man. He's just not getting it.
Stop setting
So
your best lineup, Tank Top. Wait, I didn't say
yeah,
that with the commissioner listening.
yeah. La 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 la. It puts you and me in who cares? But 3-2, just like Tank Top Mike, only down by points. So we're right there trying to claw our way back into the playoffs. Down at the bottom 4, you've got Dylan popped up to number 7
There you
with a
go,
good week
Dylan.
there. So um, FNG, Goofy F and Jace, Goofy F and JZ, I should say. At 1-4, and then of course Dr. Donkey and the Dumbass at 0-5. So yeah, there's your bottom 4 right now. And some people trying to get into it. Well, Goofy got into it. Mike wants to
That's
join him,
fucked
I
up.
know. Mike wants to join him, I know. We'll have to see. Now, what I'm looking at, is I've been such a suck a suck fest that there's guys, one, two, three of them have more points than me right now. So I got to start. I got to start scoring some damn points.
You
Or
can't lose. That's what you can do.
yeah, no, I got to just keep. I got to keep winning for sure. And yeah, some points would be nice. Of course, it'll only keep me out of the bottom four, which doesn't matter anymore that I don't have my first. So, but there you go. There's our standings. Kind of interesting there. Yep.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely.
we got 6 teams with that have winning records. So there you have it. All right, man. Let's move on to next week's matchup so we can wrap this show up.
Wrap it up. Which one you want to do first there, Marky Mark?
Well, I always start with the Marky Mark matchup of the week.
Ooh.
And this week, that would be Tank Top Mike versus the Johnsons. So this is a key game for.
Self-pleasing indeed.
Yeah, no, this is, it's not that if you look at the matchups this week, it's sort of like you kind of, it looks like all of them are pretty easy to call, I think. This is the one though that it's a key game for the top and the bottom four.
Yeah,
So,
definitely.
and if I lose, then those three that I was talking about in the bottom seven that have more points, I could find myself back down there, in the bottom seven. Yeah, you could drop me right back down there where Mike wants to be. So let's look this one over and say what you think. Right now, he's favored by 7 points or so.
Well, I think in general, you both are kind of ascending, and Mike doesn't understand what the word tank means. So this is gonna be fun because I mean, like, one of you's got to lose unless you guys trade tie, which would be even funnier. I hope you guys tie, so we have to do the math on that bullshit at the end of the year. I hope you guys tie. That's not like a self-serving, oh, these are both two hosts of the NAO show. I want to tie because that would cause the most fucking havoc later in the year.
Yeah. Well, yeah. As a commissioner, I could do without that, I'll tell you. Hey, look who he's got in his lineup. Some guy named De Mercado. In
Yeah,
Spanish, that means of the market. And he was on the market, but Mike has him in his lineup.
it's gonna be tough to get him out of his lineup. You're gonna have to put up the big bucks to get him, I bet.
How do you like that? He's got him in there, man. That's interesting. Yeah, he's the new top guy. Connor out. Keontae Ingram is probably the number two, but he is very questionable for the game. I just want to scroll down and you kind of wonder, well, you don't want to put Gibson in there? Got Antonio Gibson. He's got the other guy with Arizona, Tony Jones. Is he tanking? I don't know. I hope not, man. I hope not.
Gibson's playing in Atlanta.
He's got Pickens on by. I don't know. Now I see Jahan Dotson down here, and I'm like, okay, maybe he's just trying to up the trade value for Mr. DeMarcado. So we'll see.
Keep your Jedi mind tricks on other shows. You can't talk him into a bad play.
Yeah. Well, he's got some good matchups. I'm looking at my side of things.
Don't
Those
make him
my
start Gus Bus.
Yeah. I don't think that's a great start. Gus Bus could end up inactive. That's been a crazy situation for the Baltimore running backs right now. But yeah, I got Brees Hall going up against Philly, so one great game, and I got to stare down Philly right now. That's not the best situation to be in. Those Miami matchups look good, but it's one of those where if they get up by 21, then you got to hope that Waddle and Tua have done their damage already. And if they haven't, then if they take their foot off the gas, then that could be trouble. So
You're
um,
worried that the team that scored 70 points will take their foot off the gas?
well, I think that was different. That was Denver. I think there was a statement to be made there because they dissed the coaches, So,
La fuck
but
you.
yeah. So yeah, it's gonna be tough. I wish I had Yeah, just looking down on my depth, I sure wish Javante was 100% and could be in there, but yeah, otherwise it's a little more shaky for me, unfortunately. So I got my best guys in there right now, so we'll see what happens.
I think the big question marks are how many points is he going to get out of Kittle? What does a normal day for DJ Moore look like? And like, how many points is Swift going to put up on New York? Like, Swift is going to put up freaking 25 points on New
Yeah,
York.
I mean it's still a good defense there, so New York it just has to they got to try to stay in it. They got to try to keep it close. Um, so there's still a decent defense. It's just they can't let Wilson get them too far behind, you know. So, but yeah, that's one I'm most interested in this week. Not just because it's my matchup, but because it means a lot about who's moving up and who's moving down. You know.
Standings next week are going to be
Yeah,
fun.
gonna be fun. Gonna be fun. We'll move on to our next matchup. We've got Goofy effing Jay-Z going up against the Prince. So yeah, after Goofy selling, if he doesn't start selling those first rounders, Sean, uh, your favorite to win kind of handily right now.
Yeah, his running back room looks kind of rough, as he's mentioned in the chat. Not to pour gasoline on that at all, but I'm hopefully playing the right quarterback this week. Like, what the flying fucking fuck, you know? Like,
Yeah,
sorry,
a little bit.
earmuffs for all the
Yeah,
little kids.
yeah, tougher defense there, but it's in Cincinnati, which it's always tough for these West Coast teams to come east. So I liked your chances there.
I'm gonna have to depend on Cortland Sutton and moving down because I honestly think Justin Jefferson's probably going to be out for the rest of the year. I'm going to have to depend on Romeo Dubs a little bit at the end of the year, which really fucking blows ass. So
Yeah, there is a
uh,
chance. There is a good chance that they just decide to shut him down.
I'm just coming to terms with it in my heart now. So when
Hmm.
he's supposed to come off IR and he just stays on fucking IR, I don't get too upset about it.
Yeah, yeah, that one hurts you, man. Yeah, I'm a little surprised you got Schultz in over Logan Thomas, but we'll let you do you there. But otherwise, I like your lineup. Like I said about Olave, just hope he starts hope it starts coming together for him there because he's really good. Um, just hasn't been there. Hasn't been there. I got him in another league and thought he'd be my number two, and it hasn't really worked out well for me. So I know what you're feeling. I'm 2-3 in that league and lost some close ones. And if Olave had just done a little bit more. So
Mm-hmm.
Goofy's got Hurts there. Of course, is always a good start. Had to see what Williams does. Just out of curiosity, he played 47% of snaps, 3 targets, only 2 for 2, so not a great day for Jameson Williams. You kind of figure he's gonna kind of gonna have to come in slow. He really hasn't played.
Yeah,
It's
he's
it's
still getting
really
used to NFL.
it's like he's a rookie for all
Yeah.
intents and purposes. He's a rookie coming in there. Um, Wilder had a good week last week. They're playing a tougher team in Buffalo, so but they finally started lining up Wilder. We saw him splitting them out and using him as a receiver. He's their best receiver and or tight end. So
And or player without Saquon Barkley on the field.
yeah, yeah. He's got Lockett and Kirk in there. Those are solid guys. So
You don't
yeah.
say.
Those are solid guys. So um, maybe not the depth that he would like, but got some decent guys up in there. He's got his Green Bay guys on bye. So yeah, we'll have to see. We will have to see. Van Jefferson just got traded to Atlanta. Wonder what that's going to mean, if anything.
Absolutely nothing. They have a
Yeah.
perfectly good tight end that they don't throw to. They have a pretty damn good wide receiver when given the opportunity that they
Yeah.
don't throw to. So a
Yeah.
mediocre Van Jefferson going to a really bad throwing team that doesn't do anything for anybody.
Yeah. No. Ritter actually had a good game, and he
I
did.
guess I have big feelings about it.
Pitts had a decent game too, but I don't know. Did they make a change so that Ritter can be more productive, or was it just
A
one of
fluke.
those? Yeah, a fluke. Yeah, that's good. That's a good way to put it. We'll have to see. We'll have to see.
We'll have to see.
Ritter had been really bad, and he actually looked good. I told you I was surprised. I'm sitting there watching more of the Atlanta Houston out of the games that we could watch because he was surprisingly good. Ritter was surprisingly good. It was a good game. All right, let's see. We'll move on to our next matchup. We've got A-Bomb versus FNG. I got to tell you, man, the reality for FNG, he needs a win to even have a prayer right now.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, he's playing a hot A-Bomb. And when I say a hot A-Bomb, I mean that both figuratively and literally.
Whoa. Whoa, we are a family show, sir. You keep your love lust for A-Bomb to yourself.
Hey, got to see him up close and personal the last few days, so.
Oh, is that what we're calling it now? Oh, fantastic. Well, going back to the fantasy football stuff that we're supposed to be talking about and not somebody else's Johnson, Mr. Johnson.
You can ask me about mine.
A-Bob's got a lot of green matchups. That does not bow well for FNG needing a W.
Yeah. What's up with does Mostert have a injury designation? I'm just looking. What's it say by I'm trying to look here. Questionable by Mostert. Was he questionable before? Just wondering what that's all about. I don't see it in the when you
I
click
think
on
it's
him.
old. He's fine.
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to drag us down with a lot of silence there, but I'm not seeing what the injury is. They got Q by him. I just couldn't remember if that was coming into the last game or if that was something new that popped up. So, but yeah,
I'm
you
sure
got
with the opportunity that guy's going to get, he's going to be definitely playing.
yeah. I mean, you look at Pacheco against Denver's got to be him making his eyes go boing, and you got Devontae Adams going against New England. Gonzalez out for the year, so man, that could be something too. Davis against the Giants, man, you're right. He's got a lot. Tennessee's a great rush defense, more of a pass funnel, so Andrews could do fine. Wow, look at that. You got to wonder if Evans will actually be in there. I don't know. I haven't heard much updates on Evans, so not really sure what to think there. So
If given the
yeah,
opportunity, that man will play.
yeah. Now you got Fields on the other side going up against Minnesota. That's a nice matchup for FNG. Um, definitely good one there. James Cook could bounce back with the game against New York Giants. Right
He's
now they're
gonna
showing
FNG is gonna need actual production from the people that he's been banking on. Like Ramondre Stevens needs to actually produce. Miles Sanders, he's not going to, but he's gonna need to overproduce to get the W
yeah,
here. Drake London's actually gonna have to be considered a wide receiver one in Atlanta, and we all just heard my point of view on the Atlanta offense. So if it does come to fruition that FNG does get a W, it's going to be not because he went absolutely bonkers, which is what it's going to need,
yeah,
honestly. It's going to be more of, we're going to be more looking at what happened to A-Bomb. Like, why didn't he
right,
hit these
right.
points?
Looking down FNG's roster, I think he'll end up getting Godwin in there and probably Kenneth Walker in there. He's got Tank Dell in. I think Dell might be actually out. It says out concussion protocol. So yeah, a lot of these guys that have been going in the protocol have been missing one game at least. Goddard finally had a game, and hopefully they'll continue that. But yeah, I don't know, man. He's got probably got to get Sanders out of there and put in Walker, and he's got to look at maybe getting Godwin in there. Mari Cooper might not be a bad play if Watson goes, but they're playing San Francisco. You'd have to be hoping for a volume thing,
Yeah,
if you're going to put in Cooper. So
garbage
he's got
play,
a he's
garbage
got a
time.
few he's got a few options to bump things up a little bit, but man, A-Bomb's been on a streak, so um, yeah, we called what was that old saying? The reports of his demise have been greatly exaggerated. uh, yeah, he is
Yeah,
still hanging in
somebody
there.
somebody in the league, Pooh Crew, I'm sure was going to him and trying to get all of his players, trying to get him to blow it up.
Yeah, and telling everybody that A-Bomb's number one pick was going to be the first overall.
I mean, that's why I think it happened. That's like he's telling everybody, hey, my pick's going to be number 101. And A-Bomb, like Michael Jordan said, I took that personally.
Yeah, tough one, man. I swear, I know none of us thought we'd be here in week 6 thinking that FNG was one loss away from pretty much being out of it. But the reality is, man, one win after 6 weeks does not equal playoffs most of the time.
Well, if my memory is serving me correctly, 8-6 is the score for the last couple of years that have been what you needed win-loss rate. And obviously he's gotten the points. So if it comes down to points, I think he's going to be okay.
Yeah,
Because I mean he has more points than Tank Top does, and he's sitting at 4 right now. But
yeah,
what like you alluded to, his win-loss right now is the thing
yeah.
that's really keeping him back.
So 8-6 would mean rattling off 7 out of 8 over the
Yeah.
last. So that's gonna be rough, man. It's gonna be rough. I hate it for him, man, but that's the reality of it right now, unfortunately. All right, let's move on to Silly Dilly versus the DBs. I wish Dilly had Connor at least to go into this one with.
That's not going to
Yeah,
help him, Primo.
could be tough sledding for him now that he lost his only true RB1, especially going up against a very angry team in the DBs who just lost their first match. They won't go undefeated. I know they're pissed
Nope.
off about that,
Oh yeah,
and
definitely.
they might take it out on their homeboy Dylan.
Well, I mean, they're projected 129 points, and that's with a big old goose egg from A-Chain, and they're about to put Eckler, who was perceived to be the only person that could even come close to CMC, who's also on the roster, to be the top dog in fantasy.
Yeah,
So
Eckler with projection of 16, so one that'll get him up in the 146 area. Whew.
yeah, that's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. Like,
When's the last time Dylan scored 146 points? Yeah, team
uh,
team historian, Poo Crew, let us know,
he
please.
came close last week. He had a damn good week last week.
Yeah, no,
So
he did. 146 though. That's a good score. Anytime.
it's just very difficult to depend on Sam Howell scoring as many as he did, and Laporta. I mean, 3 touchdowns by a rookie tight end is just unheard of.
Yeah, yeah. But I will say that Howell did look better last week. Two QB league. I picked up Heineke and Brissett because I just knew that Ritter and Howell were going to get run on out of there. But both of them came back with good weeks, so good on them. Hopefully they can keep it going. Howell did look a lot better, man. He was pretty putrid in the game before, so we'll see if he can keep it going. He's got Jaleel McLaughlin in there with Javante dinged up. He's been getting some looks and making the most of them. He's actually been a pretty exciting player.
Yeah.
But then when your RB2 is Damian Harris, then starts to go downhill. I like Flowers, I like Myers, Laporta, but he's flexing in Higbee, and I think Higbee's probably toast now the Cup's back. It looks like
Oh
it's
yeah.
uh, it's all about and they just traded Jefferson. So you can see it's all about Cup, Nakua, and Atwell. Atwell's the guy, the number 3 there, and
Yep.
Higby's just really not a part of things anymore. He's going to be out there
Block.
blocking. Yep, yep. So I don't know if he's got a better play than Higby, but tough to be playing Damian Harris as your backup guy. You just hope they get down there on the 1 yard line and they decide to put in Harris to run it in for the touchdown. Maybe that does something for you, you know. I don't know. He's got showing Wandale Robinson out. Just trying to see if he's got anybody better. Kendrick Bourne, he's been involved a lot, but that's the worst offense in the league right now. Not like you want to be playing them. I don't know if Beckham will get back and he wants to put him in. Just not a lot of options there, man. Unfortunately,
No.
I still think I'd put in Jonnu Smith over Higby though. If you're gonna flex in a tight end, put in the guy who's getting like 7 targets a game at least, you know.
Oh yeah.
So
Anything around 8 or 9 targets, that's very good to elite target share.
yeah,
So
yeah, yeah. Even with Pitts having a decent game, Jonnu was still pretty involved. I can double check and make sure I'm not speaking out of both sides of my mouth here, but he got 7 targets. Yeah, he got 7 targets against Houston and 6 for 67. So, I mean, I think that's going to be better than what Higby does when it's all said and done. So, we'll see when what the projection is when the DBs get their get their roster set. They're a little bit slow. They know we talk about this on the show, man. I
they
thought
do it
everybody.
because you make a point of it.
Yeah,
You call them
whatever.
Dr. Donkey and the Dumbass. They're not going to set their lineup to be pleasant for us.
Oh well. It's meant with the utmost respect, so
Oh.
I say it with all due respect. Yeah, I'll say it that way, with all due respect. Not that
Dude.
much is due. All right, let's move on. We got one more matchup to talk about here. That is Dr. Donkey and the Dumbass going up against the Pooh Crew. So Pooh Crew looks to get back on track after his first loss. Poor guy. He won't be undefeated this
Poor
year.
guy.
Poor guy
Rule
won't be
1 of the
undefeated.
NAO show.
I feel for him, man. He got his first loss, you know.
What the
Pretty
fuck ever.
pretty salty about it and everything, man. Thursday night I thought
No, not Ian.
he thought I was gonna have to put him on suicide watch, but I know the tips would love to stick it to Ian.
Oh, I would absolutely freaking love to see the freaking Poo Crew go down again.
Yeah. What we got? Herbert with a questionable. What's he got? He's got a finger. He'll be all right. He'll be all right.
He'll be fine.
He'll be fine.
Amon Ra, I don't know where he stands in his ailments. He may be out again. I'm not sure where that is. Kelsey, if Kelsey plays, like that is gonna be risky at best. Like he can only take how many of those cocktails to his knee?
Yeah. I swear, yeah, I told you guys I think he got some goofy juice in the locker room because he was shaking his head, he was mad, he was limping like crazy, and then he comes back out like a new man, you know.
He
It
got the
just
Patrick Mahomes, I'm playing in the playoffs with a high ankle sprain and still looking fucking awesome
yeah.
cocktail.
Sometimes you can play through the day of, but then when that swelling hits the next day, it's a whole different thing. So
On a
uh,
short week.
short week, short week. Do they really need him in there? You know,
No.
if I'm Kansas City, I sit him, man. I just sit them. Get healthy. They got Las Vegas after that. So let's see. They got Denver, LA, Denver. I mean, bring them back from the Miami game in week 9, and then they have a bye. Why even put them out there right now if you don't need them?
CEH is gonna go crazy on Tank Top Mike's bench.
Wouldn't that just be fitting? He's got Taylor on the bench. Did he put Moss in? No, wait. He's got Taylor in
No,
there.
he's
I'm
got
sorry.
Taylor in and Moss
Yeah,
on
I
the bench.
thought I had scrolled down a little further. Oh, he's disrespecting me right now by playing the San Diego. He's not San Diego, LA Chargers defense against my Cowboys. Yeah, that's gonna bite you on the ass. I'm telling you right now, Ian. It's gonna bite you on the ass. So
I'm
wow.
glad to see that you have big feelings about this. If for some reason it does go our way and the Poo Crew does get that all loving L again, it's gonna be because Kelsey went down, Rice had a freaking crazy day,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
Nico
Rice.
Collins went fucking ham
Yeah,
on New Orleans. So, and they got Tutu Atwell too. Like you were just saying, he's good for at least a few looks and
yeah.
a touchdown. You know what I mean? Like then KJ Osborne, freaking
Gonna be
Justin
more
Jefferson
involved.
went down. He's gonna get some looks. Well,
Yeah,
I think, like I said, Hawkinson's gonna be that person. But I could be fucking wrong. I'm not professional
yeah.
at this.
Unfortunately for them, I think that Stroud and Nico stack is going to be a tough one against New Orleans, man. They got a really good defense, so that's going to be a tough one for them. They're going to need that one to come through for them for sure. Yeah.
Well,
Don't know if they have enough to get it done, but hey, they scored 130 a couple weeks ago, so maybe they can get back there again.
roll that dice.
Yeah.
All right. So that was week 5 in review. We touched in depth on week 6 matchups because it is in the thick of it this year, this time of the year. As you see, the tanker is in 4th place, as he should be, I guess. Like, what the heck ever. We're just the standings next week could look vastly different.
Yeah.
If one game goes the other way and another goes the opposite way that we were thinking, it could be looking completely different next week. And that's
Yeah.
why we love this league and why we love this time of the year.
Absolutely. It'll
And
be
as
fun to
you all
see.
know, Ian, you fucking suck. Get a loss.